TV.
We are local.
International communities observing every
Why the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the move by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem. There's no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left, in all the accounts of Anambra State, 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket. Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Bright and early as the day breaks, as the newspaper headlines trail the stories that shape the day. We at Signature TV trail the headlines that trail the day. We interrogate the headlines. We analyze the stories that make the headlines.
Why it's overrated, and they even overrated themselves, and when people see it, they are insensitive of some Nigerian children who have never had what they call CBT.
With passion and emotion, we drive the conversation to change a narrative.
Let nobody be deceived by Nigerian high level of performing in agriculture export. We are still where we are.
Newspaper review on Signature TV every morning on Signature Morning, weekdays, and Signature New Day, weekends. Newspaper review on Signature TV. We do not just review the headlines, we make the headlines relevant to our daily lives.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with the diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Chigichi Agorum, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
The way we see the world shapes the way we change it. Gender isn't just a checkbox, it's a lens, one that helps us understand the world more deeply and act more fairly. Gender Perspectives, a program for those ready to see more, do more, and be more. Designed to challenge assumptions, ignite conversations, and build inclusive solutions across every sector of society.
We are not, fighting the men. We are not saying we are equal in terms of rights. We're only asking they should recognize our existence.
Join us on Gender Perspectives, showing every Saturday by 4 p.m. Repeat every Wednesdays by 5 p.m. and Thursdays by 3 p.m. Change begins with perspective. Let's widen yours.
Cross River candidate as fake. Mali Defense Minister Sadio Kamara killed as insurgents intensify attacks. And suspected gunman at Washington Press dinner identified as 31-year-old Californian. Details in a moment.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Leaders of the leading opposition political parties in Nigeria have announced plans to present a single presidential candidate for the 2027 general election. The resolution was adopted at the National Summit of the Opposition Political Party Leaders, hosted in Ibadan by Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde. The summit, which had as its theme that we may work together for united opposition to sustain our democracy, was described by organizers as a response to growing national concerns over governance, security, and economic pressure. Factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Kabiru Turaki, who read out the resolutions, said the move is aimed at strengthening the opposition's chances at the polls, despite what he described as attempts to ensure President Bola Tinubu emerges unopposed within the ruling party. Prominent leaders of opposition political parties at the meeting included former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, former Minister of Information, Professor Jerry Gana, David Mark, Professor Pat Utomi, Rauf Aregbesola, Aminu Tambowal, and Rabiu Kwankwaso, among others. The All Progressives Congress, APC, says it is not disturbed by the decision of opposition leaders to field a single presidential candidate for the 2027 general elections to dislodge the ruling party. The National Secretary of the party, Ajibola Basiru, said in a social media post that the opposition parties are free to explore coalition talks. He, however, noted that the coalition is yet to resolve fundamental disagreements, including which party would produce the joint candidate. The APC described the meeting as lacking in legitimacy, suggesting that it was not a formal coalition of political parties. Basiro also mocked former Vice President Atiku Abubakar for allegedly sleeping at the Ibadan summit, which he said put a question mark on the seriousness of the gathering. Donor nations have expressed worry about the alleged lack of transparency in the country's electoral process, warning that it may affect international support. The issue was a major concern in Abuja over the weekend as the National Human Rights Commission honored one of its development partners. Correspondent Chimeze Nzedima observes in this report that donor support from international organizations has played a crucial role in the organization of Nigeria's elections.
The Abuja event by the National Human Rights Commission was to confer its 2025 Human Rights Partnership Award on the Ford Foundation for decades of support in advancing justice, civic engagement, and human dignity in Nigeria. The West Africa director of the foundation, Catherine Anyagolu, used the occasion to point to threats to the support for Nigeria's electoral process.
I have to be honest that the outcome of the last elections were not one that the world felt that was in a way that, not who became president, but just the outcome of it was challenging. And I think the problem we have at the international level is that when people don't understand the process, to fund it again becomes a problem. So there might be a challenge with that.
Executive Secretary of the Human Rights Commission, Tony Ojukwu, had earlier said that the partnership with the Ford Foundation has strengthened the Commission's capacity to respond to human rights violations and expand access to justice.
The Ford Foundation has demonstrated unwavering dedication to support this institution to deliver on its mandate. The Foundation has been recognized for strengthening democratic values, supporting justice sector reforms, and promoting the dignity of all persons, particularly the most vulnerable. At a time when the human rights defense landscape continues to evolve with new and complex challenges, the Foundation has remained a reliable ally, providing not only financial support, but also thought leadership and institutional capacity development. Through its interventions, the Foundation has contributed significantly to expanding access to justice, enhancing civic engagement, promoting gender equality, and supporting initiatives aimed at combating human rights violations in all its forms.
Ojukwu noted that collaborations with development partners have played a critical role in promoting gender equality, supporting electoral reforms, and tackling human rights abuses across the country.
This partnership with the Commission has strengthened our ability to respond more effectively to the needs of the Nigerian people. One of the most recent and notable examples of this collaboration was the enduring 2025 commemoration of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, where the Foundation provided the critical support to lead up and the Commission that enabled us carry out our activities across the 36 states of the Federation. The Foundation supported the Commission in the MOVE project, which was targeted at mainstreaming human rights into electioneering, election campaigns, as well as elections during the 2023 general elections.
But while receiving the award, Ford Foundation's West Africa Director, Catherine Chinedum Anyagolu, struck a more cautious tone. She warned that shrinking global funding and increasing demand for support are putting pressure on organizations working to promote human rights.
You can imagine that with the closure of USAID and so many organizations reducing their funding, so many organizations are coming to the few of us that are remaining. And so it's important to get requests on time.
Anyagolu also raised concerns over Nigeria's justice system, noting that awareness alone is not enough if institutions responsible for protecting rights fail to deliver justice.
With society is that the best way to uphold civil society is actually to uphold the rights of people when they seek justice. And so it's, to a certain extent, it's important for people to know their rights, but if the supply side the people who are actually supposed to uphold those rights are not doing it, then it's challenging to be able to, it's about you create a double frustration, because the person who doesn't know their rights doesn't know that they're being abused. But the person who knows their rights, but then can't get justice from their rights, is doubly, frustrated. So I think maybe what we need to be looking at, how can we have the supply side, the side that is actually responsible for upholding human rights, the police, the justice system, how can we get them to actually work?
While both parties reaffirmed their commitment to continued collaboration, the message was clear. Without stronger institutions and sustained support, the protection of human rights in Nigeria may remain a difficult task. In Abuja, Chimize Nzedima reporting for Signature Television.
The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has suspended its planned indefinite nationwide strike following fresh commitments by the federal government on allowances, arrears and funding of training. The decision is contained in a communique issued at the end of an emergency National Executive Council NEC meeting held virtually, which was signed by the President, Mohammed Suleiman, the Secretary General, Shaibu Ibrahim, and the Publicity and Social Secretary, Abdul Majid Ibrahim. NARD said the suspension followed high-level engagements with key government officials and stakeholders, including the Vice President, as well as the Ministers of Health, Labour and Finance, as well as key agencies, including the Budget Office, the Office of the Accountant General, the IPPIS. The association noted that its earlier decision to embark on a total and indefinite strike arose from the federal government's reversal of the implementation of the reviewed professional allowance table and other welfare concerns. The NEC also noted that the federal government had renewed its commitment to the payment of all outstanding promotion arrears and salary arrears owed to resident doctors in affected institutions nationwide. The association, however, demanded the expedient conclusion and full disbursement of the 2026 MRTF following the initial approval already secured and the immediate commencement and timely completion of the process for the payment of the outstanding 19 months arrears of the allowance. The ENUGU State Governor, Peter Mba, has urged the Chinese government to establish a Chinatown and regional business headquarters in ENUGU State. Governor Mba made the call while receiving a delegation from the People's Republic of China, led by Consul General Yang Yuying. Correspondent Chinemerim Ikegbonam reports.
The ENUGU state government is intensifying its efforts to go into strategic partnerships that will position the state as the hub for global investments. The state governor Peter Mba, who played host to a high-level delegation, urges the Chinese government to explore the possibility of establishing a Chinatown in ENUGU and citing major international business headquarters in the state. The governor told the delegation from the People's Republic of China, led by Consul General Yan Yingshen, which included executives from China Communication Construction Company and China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, that ENUGU is ready for large-scale investments. He informed the delegation about the improved security, modern infrastructure, and investor-friendly policies, highlighting flagship projects including the new ENUGU City, smart green schools, expanded road networks, and a modern transport system.
We also felt that we need to have a modern city with modern facility and to make it also smart, since that's the direction the world is going. And we're happy to be partnering with a Chinese company in the development of the new city, the CCCC, China Communication Construction Company. So we have also visited their headquarters in Beijing, and we believe that it's a company with the capacity to meet our desire for a new city.
The Chinese Consul General commended the development vision of the state government, describing ENUGU as a city of opportunities. She assured of China's commitment to deepening collaboration in infrastructure, technology, education, and industrial development.
In China, we have experience. If you want to be rich, you must first build road. So I think that infrastructure, yes, is already our traditional area for cooperation. But in the future, we should develop the digital economy and also like agricultural modernization or industrialization, and especially the talent development. All Chinese people we know, Igbo people, they do business the best. Yes. So really, I think that here we hope, yes, to develop the corporate in vocational education.
For residents and investors alike, expectations are high that this partnership will translate into concrete projects that will not only shape the commercial landscape of the state, but also reinforce its emergence as a preferred destination for business and innovation in Nigeria. In Enugu, Chinemerem Ikebunam, Signature TV News.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has dismissed as fake a widely circulated result slip purported to show that a candidate from Cross River State scored 394 in the 2026 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. The results shared by social media user on X claimed that the female candidate Okon Winifred Sampson delivered a remarkable performance in her UTME examinations, scoring an outstanding 394 out of 400. The results showed that he scored 96 in use of English, 99 in biology, 98 in chemistry, and 99 in physics. In a statement issued on Sunday, spokesperson for JAMB, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, described the result as fake and urged the public to disregard it. Benjamin explained that UTME results are strictly view-only and not designed for circulation in printed or shared templates, and that the document being circulated is based on a fabricated result format. The circulated document, he said, appears on a fabricated result template, which on its own is sufficient indication that it is not authentic, noting that the registration number on the fake slip does not conform to JAMB's system-generated numbering format. The board advised the public to rely only on official communication channels for authentic information on examination results and disregard the fake results and rely only on official channels for accurate information. The federal government is set to map and digitize police stations across the country for effective and efficient policing across the federation. This follows the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between the government and the Police Trust Fund, PTF, in Abuja. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, who made this known, stated that the investments by the present administration to grow the economy will not be fully realized without a proper policing system. The minister noted that the Galaxy Backbone Limited has fiber across Nigeria, which has been paid for by the government, stressing that the mapping will enable citizens to see which police stations are already closed and how they can be connected. Tijani said funds and support are being provided by the World Bank and the European Union, and explained that with the project, people will no longer have the issue of using an interpreter at the police stations. The Executive Secretary of the PTF, Mohammed Shaidu, noted that the signing of the MOU and the partnership will go a long way to modernize the Nigerian police force and create smart police stations. The federal government has advised Nigerians residing in South Africa to be cautious of further anti-foreign protests scheduled in the country. An advisory issued by the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCAM, Abike Dabiri Arewa, noted that the warning followed an official circular from the Consulate General of Nigeria in Johannesburg that demonstrations in East London, Cape Town, Durban, and KwaZulu-Natal have turned violent, leading to looting, property damage, and injuries. The statement urged the Nigerians of the country to adhere to the advisory issued by the Consulate General, warning of escalating demonstrations across the country. According to the statement, available intelligence indicates that further protests are scheduled to happen in Gauteng province between April 27 and 29, 2026, with demonstrators intending to apply pressure on the South African government over the presence of foreign nationals. The NIDCAM advised all Nigerian citizens to avoid any confrontation with the protesters, refrain from engaging with demonstration groups, and monitor local media outlets for real-time safety information. She further advised them to remain law-abiding at all times, while business owners should protect their businesses by closing on Freedom Day, April 27, and consider remaining closed on April 28 and 29, as foreign-owned businesses are often targeted during unrests. Trump says shooting won't deter him from Iran war. Netanyahu accused Hezbollah of dismantling ceasefire with Lebanon. Details of these and more from the international scene.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Mali's Defense Minister General Sadio Camara has been killed amid coordinated attacks on military sites across the West African country, a day after Camara's house in the garrison town of Kati came under attack. Camara and some of his relatives were killed amid a wave of strikes involving separatist fighters and Al-Qaeda-linked militants that targeted the capital, Bamako, and several other cities across the country. The violence marks one of the most serious security escalations in the recent years, with separatist groups in the north confirming that they joined with Islamist militants in the coordinated assault on Malian army positions. The man arrested after shots were fired inside the hotel where the White House correspondent's dinner was being held on Saturday night has been named by law enforcement sources as Cole Thomas Allen. The 31-year-old suspect is from Torrance in the Los Angeles region, California. After he was detained by security agents inside the Washington Hilton Hotel, he told law enforcement officials that he wanted to shoot officials in the Trump administration, according to sources. At a late-night press conference, police said that security officials and the suspect exchanged fire, without saying how many shots were fired. Washington Interim Police Chief Jeffrey Carroll said the suspect was not struck by gunfire but was taken to hospital for evaluation. U.S. President Donald Trump says Saturday's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Association dinner would not deter him from the Iran war. He said he does not believe that the incident was linked to the conflict. Trump said investigators were working on the motive of the shooter, whom he described as a lone wolf. International efforts to mediate between the United States and Iran were in balance on Sunday, after President Donald Trump cancelled his envoy's planned trip to Pakistan for talks. Trump said there was no point sitting around talking about nothing and dismissed Tehran's negotiating position, but added that Iran has revised its proposal within minutes of his decision. The White House had said Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff were to set off for Pakistan on Saturday for talks with Iran aimed at moving toward a deal, but Trump later said he had scrapped the trip. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Hezbollah's actions in Lebanon are dismantling the ceasefire agreed between Israel and Lebanon. Netanyahu said during a weekly cabinet meeting that it must be understood that Hezbollah's violations are in practice frustrating the ceasefire, which was extended by 3 weeks on Thursday. Hezbollah has dismissed accusations of breaking the ceasefire as meaningless, accusing Israel of violating the truce through continued strikes and territorial presence, saying its attacks are defensive retaliations against Israeli violations. One of China's largest independent oil refiners, Hengli Petrochemical, has denied trading with Iran after the U.S. imposed sanctions on one of its subsidiaries accused of buying Iranian crude. The company said it has never engaged in any trade with Iran and that all its crude oil suppliers guaranteed that the origins of the crude oil supplied did not fall within the scope of U.S. sanctions. The company said it has sufficient crude oil inventories to meet processing needs for more than 3 months, and that its crude oil procurement activities have not been affected in any way.
And now over to the sports scene. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has announced the rescheduling of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations (WAFCON), citing the need to ensure optimal conditions for players, teams, and overall tournament organization. Originally scheduled to commence on March 17, 2026, the competition will now take place from July 25 to August 16. CAF's Acting Secretary General Samson Adamu acknowledged that the decision to postpone the tournament was not taken lightly, but was necessarily due to a range of logistical and organizational challenges that would have affected the quality of the event. The adjustment in schedule is expected to provide CAF and host stakeholders with additional time to address the identified challenges and ensure that WAFCON 2026 is staged under the best possible conditions. Sporting Supreme Football Academy and Nigeria Tels have been crowned champions of the 2026 FCT Federation Cup after securing victories in the men's and women's finals. The finals, held on Saturday 25th April 2026 at the Area 3 playing ground in Abuja, delivered an impressive display of football talent across both categories. In the women's final, Nigeria Tels dominated proceedings with a convincing 3-0 victory over NAF FC to clinch the title. In the men's competitions, Sporting Supreme Football Academy made history by claiming their first ever FCT Federation Cup title. Their senior team edged past their under-19 side in a closely contested match, winning 2-1 in an unusual final that featured two teams from the same academy. Following their success, all four finalists, Nigeria Tels, NAF FC, Sporting Supreme Team 1 and Sporting Supreme Team 2, will go on to represent the FCT at the 2026 National President Federation Cup. In basketball, African champions Nigeria the Tigers suffered an 89-63 defeat to the Los Angeles Sparks in the historic preseason friendly at Viajas Arena, San Diego on Saturday. The encounter marked the first ever meeting between an African national team and a WNBA franchise, a significant milestone for women's basketball on the global stage. Nigeria were led from the sideline by assistant coach Wani Muganguza, with head coach Rena Wakama unavailable due to her commitments with the Chicago Sky coaching staff. In tennis, Britain Kat Butler said it was a privilege to play alongside absolute icon Venus Williams as they reached round 2 of the women's doubles at the Madrid Open. Butler, who was knocked out of the singles draw on Friday, and Williams, 45, had never played together before, but defeated China's Yang Zhenyu and Su Yifan 4-6, 6-3, 10-7. They will take on Taiwan's Hsia Songwei and American Sophia Kenin in round 2. Seven-time Grand Slam champion Williams is on an 11-match losing streak in singles, and her last doubles win was at the US Open in September. In cricket, Punjab Kings produced a stunning victory against the Delhi Capitals in the Indian Premier League by hunting down a target of 265 to record the highest successful known chase in the history of T20 cricket. Punjab crossed the line with 7 balls to spare at the Arun Jaitley Stadium, surpassing their own previous best chase of 262 against Kolkata Knight Riders in 2024. KL Rahul had struck an unbeaten 152, the highest score by an Indian in IPL, as Delhi reached 264-2, batting first. But Punjab attacked from the outset and reached 116-0, the second highest power play score in the tournament. That's Sport News on Signature TV. That's the size of our package. I am Christopher Lele. Thanks for watching.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem. There is no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Chigichi Agorom, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Bright and early as the day breaks, as the newspaper headlines trail the stories that shape the day. We at Signature TV trail the headlines that trail the day. We interrogate the headlines. We analyze the stories that make the headlines.
Wayek is overrated, and they even overrated themselves, and when you go see it, they are insensitive of some Nigerian children who have never had what it was CBT.
With passion and emotion, we drive the conversation to change a narrative.
Let nobody be deceived by Nigerian high level of performing in agriculture export. We are still where we are.
Newspaper review on Signature TV every morning on Signature Morning, weekdays, and Signature New Day, weekends. Newspaper review on Signature TV. We do not just review the headlines, we make the headlines relevant to our daily lives.
Just like EFCC coming to tell us that we are always after criminals, whereas they are the criminals. The politicians are the criminals, but they're after the criminals. Now, when it's time for you to do your work, you change the narrative to some people that are vulnerable, that can't speak for themselves. It's just the same thing with this one. They are trying to create something that they will use and cover up some other offenses that are upcoming, like that we'll see in the future. They are there to cover those things we think that will be a huge problem. They will tell us, we're on it, we are handling it, and it will be taken care of. And then after, they'll go for the list, leaving the big fish up there, doing their thing the way they want it. Trust me, even if they, even if that is being created, trust me, that thing will only work for the poor. Just like EFCC. EFCC is for the poor, not for the rich. It's not for the politicians. If you try it, you lose your job. That's what I can say.
I love it because I was once in that stage when I was coming. I'm once in that election stuff when I was still a young lady. When I call a young lady, that is a Spencer. I work under that INEC. There's the one we went for issues or we are coming back, opponents started chasing us to drag the ballot box from us. So as God may have it, we skate through. So if they can bring out that kind of commission, it will help those that are rigging elections.
His bill is okay, but in this country, called Nigeria, I think he should pursue for electoral reform first, to get what it means to have a very good election in Nigeria. That's what he pursued for before coming to electoral offenders reform or waiting, because this electoral offenders reform cannot work if people are not having a good electoral reform. So I believe we should pursue that first before establishing any other commission that will help in having this election, having a free and fair election in Nigeria. Electoral reform must be accepted, and I think synergy is another thing we should focus on, because people are losing interest. Ordinary citizens are losing interest, because you remember the last election, 2023, you all know what happened. We believe that it was rigged, that somebody who won, they didn't announce the person that won the election. That's what many believed. And it's because of the, what did they call it, glitches or, you know. So I believe let's pursue electoral reform first before going towards electoral commission, whatever.
What the INEC chairman is doing is germane, is good. It should be encouraged. When somebody commits such offense, that person should be tried immediately. If the person is found guilty, the person should go in for it. You understand? On the spot trial will discourage people from doing a nonsense during elections, because they know that once they are caught, they will face the law immediately. And by that time, it will not give their godfathers the opportunity of intervening. Before they will intervene, justice has already been served. It will help to serve as deterrent to those that have intention of committing malpractices during elections.
We are local.
International communities observing why the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken it through by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
For me, I don't know the reason why virtually everybody wants to join APC. I don't know the reason. Governors who are very comfortable in their states, they are supposed to stay wherever they are. After all, they were elected on the platform of the party. You know, they are now leaving their parties to join the ruling party. I don't know the reason. I don't know whether they're being enticed for one reason or the other. I don't know, but I think that is not good for democracy. Multipartism is one of the bedrocks of democracy. It creates choice for the electorates, so that if you don't like this party, you understand, based on their manifestos, you can check the one that has manifestos that suits you, and then you vote for their candidates. But when you have everybody joining one party, it doesn't give the electorate the choice, and it will create apathy. You understand? People become somehow lackadaisical. They are not interested anymore in joining or in even carrying out their normal duties as citizens. You understand? Some people will be disenfranchised. Some people even disenfranchise themselves because they're no more interested. So bring everybody into one political platform. For me, I don't like it. I don't know the reason, because I know that one party can breed anarchy, it can breed fascism, it can breed dictatorship. Understand? So it can bring all manner of, bad influences or devices, or vices in politics. So when you have one party state, you have almost shut in the electorates. So they don't have any other choice apart from following whatever thing you have presented to them. So for me, it is undemocratic. It does not encourage democracy.
Well, generally, whatever policy, whatever thing, whatever step the governance wants to take, or any step they want to take in political matters, they don't look at your opinion. They don't look at you and I's opinion. It's all about their interest. But I see it that when you are trying to defect from one party to another, it's because you're not confident that you can actually stay one place and then make it. Except if your party decides to discharge you because of one misconduct or the other. Well, that one, you have that right to like switch over. But you just waking up one morning and you think this is the only party I believe if I should step into, things will go well for me. Not actually for the citizens of the state. You are just going for your own interest, like you are going for your own interest. So you already feel that you are not going to progress if you should continue in that particular place. So that means you don't even have all it takes to, go for any opposition party and make it. You are just after your own interest. And you are looking for where, if you are weak, the party's power will now help you excel, help you be in the spotlight, like shield that your weakness so that people will not notice. You are trying to run under an umbrella where that your fear will be protected. That's how I see this defection of a thing. If you look at the whole system, generally, APC is topping the list. Look at PDP. How many states can we count now like that is PDP states? Apuga, how many? APC is taking the lead because if you don't go there, if you are not in that party, 2027 is not for you. You are just out of the whole thing. So everybody's just going in there to just shield himself, at least be a little bit, like 70% confident that I'm going to win. If you go against the ruling party, you are off the hook. You are like out of it.
Lastly,
From the look of things, that's where we are heading to. Because how many governors are left? Just few. And the indication is that they are planning to defect. And it will not be good for us, because this is democracy. We should allow other parties to come in place. We should give them a platform to participate. With the way APC is going, I don't think the future of Nigeria is bright. So moving to one party system.
What we have now, we are in this, will I call it what my master is doing? You understand? What they taught us then, I say follow, just be who you are. For me, that's what I say. I don't say anything going from one party to another. Why wouldn't you stand in that your party and build that your party for that thing you are going there to do? That is all I can say about it.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Nigeria appears to be entering a troubling phase where insecurity is no longer a distant concern but a daily reality, casting its shadow over communities, highways, markets, and increasingly the nation's schools. The recent surge in kidnappings has unsettled citizens and raised serious concerns about the effectiveness of the country's security architecture across several states. Fear has become a constant companion. Travelers now avoid certain routes, farmers abandon their farmlands, and families adjust their daily routines around the unpredictability of violent attacks. Citizens have continued to voice deep concern over the worsening security situation.
In fact, to me, I'm not safe. I don't think I'm safe here. It's just there's nothing we can do than the government to plead on the government to, work very hard to make sure that everyone is safe. Because you don't have gun, I don't have gun. So there's nothing I can do than to just look unto God and cry unto, that's the way we have been doing, cry unto the government to please, whatever they think they can do under their watch to make sure that these guys, they don't get hold on us, because hey, I'm afraid if they come, while are they, will not be small thing.
We need more security men in this country. And secondly, these security men should be deployed to their own states
The rate of insecurity in Nigeria is getting high, and everybody seems to be insecure. But what is happening is getting out of hand.
We are not happy as a citizen that our fellow citizens are falling down, both the army and the innocent children, especially school children. The way they are falling on daily basis, we are not happy.
We've seen our old women being kidnapped, being robbed in this country that we call Giants of Africa. It's so bad. And the current government, they are not doing anything to what is happening.
Businesswoman Ifeoma Aneke says many residents are now too afraid to sleep soundly in their homes.
I don't think anybody feels safe. Aside me, I don't think anybody feels safe for what is happening in Nigeria presently, because the kidnapping, the bandits everywhere, the killing, everybody is so scared. Even to sleep, if you are sleeping now, I don't think people are sleeping with their eyes closed. If you hear any noise anywhere, you just wake up, because everywhere is not safe in Nigeria presently.
Christian Aminu called on relevant authorities to ensure the deployment of security personnel to churches, schools, and other public institutions to guarantee safety for citizens while carrying out their daily activities.
I think the government should try by all means to adopt a system whereby there will be security agencies that will be released to churches, schools, and other infrastructures that at least the people can be safe when they are around their place of duty and workplaces.
Let them mobilize security agents, all the consigns. Let them make sure that insecurity is stopped in Nigeria. Some time ago, I had a foreign country planning coming to Nigeria to do something concerning it, and up till now, they are still killing and nothing is done. They should do something concerning it.
These reactions come as state governments adopt emergency preventive measures. In Katsina State, authorities have ordered the closure of all public schools following credible threats linked to kidnapping gangs. Kwara State has also shut down schools due to rising fears of possible attacks, while Plateau State has placed selected institutions on indefinite closure. Findings across the northern region show that over 180 schools have been affected by either temporary or ongoing shutdowns directly linked to insecurity. Residents, however, insist that beyond closures, there is an urgent need for a coordinated and sustained security response to restore public confidence and ensure the protection of lives and property. In Enugu, Christopher Lele, Signature TV News.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, signs, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorum, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
President Bola Tinubu has continued to engage with critical stakeholders, especially during the Ramadan and Lenten season, especially those he considered central to Nigeria's democratic and developmental processes. It was therefore the turn of leaders of the Newspapers Proprietors Association of Nigeria, the Nigerian Guild of Editors, and the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, who joined the president in the interfaith breaking of the Ramadan and Lenten fast at the State House, Abuja. President Tinubu used the occasion to charge the media industry to help deepen the country's federal system by shifting greater attention to the activities of states and local governments, insisting that development must be driven at all tiers of governments. He told the media executives and editors that the recent reforms that guarantee direct funding for local governments have created a new opportunity for grassroots development, noting that the press must play a critical role in ensuring accountability at all levels. He added that state governments are also benefiting from improved fiscal space and must be scrutinized accordingly, as governance and national progress require collective responsibility among leaders, institutions, and citizens, describing the media as an indispensable partner in nation building.
Leadership comes with responsibility of taking decision at the time it ought to be done. Otherwise, it's a failure. At the time we have to confront the subsidy, Nigeria was teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. But having asked for the job,